Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For this video I thought I'd walk you through the painting process, show you how I work and give you some explanations about my concept for this specific piece. I'm starting out with this small canvas that I stretched myself. It's not perfect by any means. I only recently started to stretch my own canvases. I'm not very good at it yet. I also used a clear primer on this canvas for no particular reason. It's just what I had. So I started by covering the whole thing in a vermilion red color until I reached full opacity. Off camera I then covered the outer edges and corners with a darker red in a very thin layer to create sort of like a gradient from light to dark. Overall I'm working in very thin layers to keep the surface as smooth as possible. When it comes to the actual concept of this painting, I've been very inspired by Japanese literature, in particular some writings by Yukio Mishima. What interested me in his work was the way he wrote about flowers in a way that highlighted both their beauty and their danger. So he'd talk about a delicate rose while also mentioning its cruel and sharp thorns, and this dichotomy between beauty and brutality is a recurring theme in his writings and one that I wanted to tackle in one of my paintings as well. So that was sort of my point of departure for this piece. After some thinking I came to this idea of a burning flower. Not just a regular flower that is burning, but one that is actually entirely made of fire. So here we have this part of the landscape that is somehow disrupted by this unnatural phenomenon. This strange flower is kind of mysterious, it burns, it's vivid and uncontrollable. As fascinating as it is frightening, it seems to have emerged to the foreground from in between the peony bushes. Peonies are one of my favorite flowers, so I really wanted to include their leaves framing the main image. Since I didn't have any tracing paper to transfer the drawing onto the canvas, I photocopied it on a thin piece of paper which I covered with a sand-colored charcoal pencil on the back. After tracing the outlines, I had this very faint reference base for the actual painting. It's barely noticeable, but enough for me to work with and easily removable. For the leaves, I kept them fairly simple by using a dark brownish purplish base as to not distract from the main element, which is the flower. I will add details to them later just to create some visual interest. As for the flower itself, I used a light yellow for the underpainting, applied with an almost dry brush to keep a very soft outline. To add a little bit of a contrasting color against all the warm tones, I added this bluish outline at the base of the stem that is often visible in a candle flame. Painting fire wasn't as challenging as I initially thought it was. I wasn't striving for realism at all, but I still wanted to give the impression that this is a flower that has petals made of fire, and I tried to evoke a movement in this painting. Since flames don't always have a sharp outline, I put a special emphasis on keeping the edges blurry and soft. And to achieve that, I worked with a completely dry little brush to blend the colors together. The final touch I added were the delicate veins on the leaves. I made them more pronounced and sharp on the brightly lit parts and kept them soft and kind of blurry on the darker side by going over them with a big fluffy dry brush. And with that, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on my next video.